Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Midweek Mix-Up Podcast Weekend Edition with myself, your host, WandrinDutch, and co-host, the General C. How are you doing today, brother?
Oh,
What been up
yeah,
to?
I'm doing good. Streamed a little bit earlier before showtime, so
Yes, you
got,
have
got me
a
streaming.
huge hunt addiction.
I do, yes. It's a problem. Well, it's not a problem yet, but it's becoming a problem because it's all I want to play at the moment.
Yes,
I'm addicted. It's
not
such a
so much
great
a bad
game.
thing. Not so much a bad thing. Um, you probably wouldn't have guessed what I've been playing earlier on.
Sea of Thieves?
Nope.
No ideas.
Bug snacks.
Bugsnax. I still haven't played it yet. I've not even installed it. I am gonna try it out on stream. I think I'll do a live pass or play on that.
Oh dear lord. It's
Uh,
it's it's one for the kids. It's one for the
mm,
kids. It's a very basic game. Um it's it's weird. It's like a mixture, but it's a mixture between like a Pokemon Snap and like a child's investigation kind of thing where you've got to catch them all. You go and catch all these different bug snacks and then feed them to people, and they ask you to go and find this other bug snack, and they've all got different mechanics. So you've got to kind of say, okay, well, to get this one out, you need to use this one and use a laser pointer to knock it out of the hole so that you can then catch it. So it's like a weird Pokemon, but then you feed them all bug snacks, and then they turn into parts of whatever snack you fed them, which is weird. Um,
uh,
yeah, it's a strange. Obviously, it's on Game Pass, so why not try it? So I tried it, see what it was
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Um,
I've not seen any gameplay. I've only ever seen the reveal trailer at one of the Sony events, and I was like, that looks like a strange game.
yeah, it is a very strange game. It's definitely one for the kids. If you have kids, I would probably recommend them playing it because it's colorful, it's silly, it's full of like daftness. It's it's a nice easy game for them to play. I would recommend
Hmm,
definitely if you've got kids, like get them on it. They'll enjoy it. Um,
yeah.
low key, Bugsnatch is Dutch's game of the year. 100%, 100%. Goat, absolute goat, greatest of all time. Uh, another game I've been playing is Astria Ascendant, which is like a indie JRPG.
Heard about that game, but
Yeah, another one that's on
don't
Game Pass.
recall what it looks like.
It's on Game Pass. It's got a nice like hand painted type art style.
Hmm.
Very much a Japanese game. And the people who created it were very much anime fans because they've got the whole bouncing boobs syndrome going on with everything with huge anime thighs, massive
What do
thighs,
people call them? They got a special name.
waifus.
Jiggle physics.
Yep. Oh, they
That's what
have
people
jiggle
call
physics
it.
down to a T on that game. Massive thighs,
Uh,
tiny waists, huge boobs. That is essentially Astria Ascendant for pretty much every character in the game. The blokes in the game have got like small thighs, huge chests, and big shoulders. I'm like, what is going on with this game? And it's completely off the scale. It's okay. Um, I was originally looking forward to it. Right now, I'm like, I've played probably I was about an hour of it.
hmm.
And it was all right. It's not like one of them JRPGs that makes you keep wanting to play it. I do believe it could be pretty short because I'm already into I'm already up to chapter 3. And that was within an hour. So I don't think it's like the longest of games, but I'll have to look into it. If it's like 8 to 10 hours, then I might finish it. If it's like
Hmm.
20, 30 hours of the same thing, then I'll probably just give it a miss. And just uninstall and try something else. Um, it's not like one of them games that as I've mentioned to you several times. I tend to I jump into things, see if something's for me, and if I like it, then I'll continue playing it. If I don't, then I'll just put it down.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have loads of time as it is to be sitting playing every game to its finale, so I choose wisely. So I'll just dive in
Yeah,
for a bit.
that's what it is for a lot of gamers, though, and it's a lot of people. They value their time gaming, so they try things out, and it's not something they want
Yeah.
to keep playing. They move on. Yeah, I know there's some people out there that start a game, no matter if they like it or not, they'll see it through to completion. I could never do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
And Marion is quite obviously choosing violence today. It's the best way to play Starfield on PS4 and PS5? Type it in YouTube and enjoy the greatness. Violence, Marion. You chose violence.
Savage.
Speaking of which, Starfield, if you haven't already, I put out a video earlier on Starfield, everything you need to know about it so far.
Yeah, very good video out there, bro.
Cheers, mate. It is a case of a full breakdown of everything that they've told us about the game, everything that we know about the game officially. Nothing to do with should we say leaks or guesstimate work or anything like that. These are all official things about Starfield from the sources themselves, i.e. the developers, Todd Howard, Bethesda Game Studios, everything that they've compiled officially so far into one neat little video. So for those who haven't had a chance to kind of look through all of it or dig into what Starfield is about, that video should have you covered. It's only about 8 minutes long. Gives you a good breakdown on the factions, the colonies, the world, the universe when it's set, the premise, the music styles, and everything like that. So
yeah, it's the Freestar Collective that appeals to me, like the sort of westerny sci-fi
Western
stuff.
space cowboys.
I can't wait to load up that game and choose that faction.
You're like, yeehaw! Choo, choo, choo.
I'm going to be streaming it as well, so yeah. It's a great game.
That game's going to do numbers on streaming services, 100%. Yeah, so it's going to be insane. But other than that, I mean, that's the first time I don't do videos like that often. Very, very limited. And to be fair, I like doing them ones, which is having a good or giving people a breakdown on a game that's not yet out. Compiling all the information, official information about the game into a nice, easy to watch video, so that they don't have to go searching for themselves.
16 times the detail.
And then it's the famous Todd Howard quote underneath there. It just works. Yeah.
Everything just works.
It just works.
Famous last words.
Yeah, famous last words. Awesome stuff. But yeah, I don't do it often, but because I much prefer streaming, as you know, and you do as well. I think at the minute you much prefer streaming now than creating content sometimes, but I don't mind compiling them videos. I think for me, doing what Boxenberger does, like I couldn't do that. He does a lot of technical breakdowns and a lot of news roundups and everything like that into his videos, and he puts a lot of time into it. But having two podcasts where we cover news, being on a third podcast that covers news, I don't think covering the news in video format as well would be a bit too much. And specifically for me, I wouldn't find it interesting enough to make the video. So it's I like doing them compiling ones. I did one on Hellblade months and months ago. I'll probably have to revisit that and do a new one because we know a lot more about it since we've had the gameplay footage of it. So I might do that as well. But there's a few others I think that I can do breakdowns of that I think would be absolutely awesome. Yes. Jen, what have you been creating? I know you've got a project in the works.
What project are you referring to? I've got my
Other
comic
than
book.
the ongoing Hunt Showdown mega streams that are on every 5 minutes.
Oh yes, the Hunt Showdown video that I'm planning.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a few different things I'm working on. I've got Sean Labrie working on some designs for my comic, but yeah, the Hunt Showdown video coming along. Writing it. Basically, it's going to be like a what is Hunt Showdown video, and to sort of appeal to the more newer players of the game and players that are not so experienced, and players that are thinking about getting into it. It's going to be a bit of comedy thrown in there with it. Hopefully that works out, because sometimes I can be funny, and a lot of the times I'm terrible. I'm not that funny.
I'm the same.
So yeah, I'm seeing how that's going to pan out, and then after that, I'll be doing like sort of highlight videos of Hunt Showdown, maybe some sort of loadouts that I'm using, just some stuff like that with Hunt, because it's going to be my main game for streaming. I stream it multiple days throughout the week, so I'll end up making some videos out of that stuff as well.
Yeah. And of course, we know that you're very much dying to, straight after this stream, go and play some more Hunt Showdown and stream it again.
Yes.
Yep.
Stream it again. Get me poncho and hat back on.
I know. Speaking of streaming, Twitch did announce, of course, some poor changes again coming to the platform. Quite a few of the streamers that I've watched for a long time over on Harris Heller's been one of the bigger influences for me in continued content creation and useful tools and tips and things on content creation across the board, and what to use, what not to use, and things. He put a good video about it, and reducing the splits, essentially taking off a further 25% of sub earnings away from Twitch streamers.
That's partners though, isn't it?
No, that's in general.
Just like affiliates as well.
Affiliates, partners,
it's
everybody.
Ridiculous.
It's insane. And I just don't see. They've also removed, and this is the good thing for Twitch streamers though, is they've removed the contractual obligation that you are locked to one streaming platform now. Because obviously YouTube don't do that. They don't say you have to stream only on our site.
Yeah.
They allow you to stream on everything, as long as you like, and they don't care. They don't even their biggest ones, they don't lock them down to exclusivity. They just say, like, the content's here as the main streaming platform. You can have it on another one if you want, but like we've got you here. For Twitch, they've just unlocked that and said you can stream everywhere at the same time. You're not down to exclusivity. But we're shaving off your earnings by 30% essentially. So big
That's
streamers
ridiculous.
are losing like tens of thousands of pounds per month on their sub revenue, which is insane. And apparently they're also looking at increasing ads, or potentially taking away the no ads for subs.
That's ridiculous.
So Twitch is not getting any better. One good thing though from Hertog, and Hertog, I mean, rightly so, get Mixer back. Hertog, I think the problem is, and this is the only thing for YouTube, and I think YouTube need to potentially look at lowering the monetization brackets for YouTube, because it is so hard. Like for anybody, like it took us a good year to get into monetization. On YouTube specifically, monetization on YouTube, you need 1,000 subs and you need 4,000 watch hours. Now, the watch hours isn't a hard task for people who stream all of the time. It is hard to get your subs up to the right required amount. To get 1,000 subs takes a lot of graft. It takes cultivation of a really good community. It's not like on Twitch where you can have grind to monetization is a beast. Yeah, I know Bailey's pretty much halfway there. You've probably smashed the watch hours now, but the grind for subs on there is insane. It's so hard.
It is pretty ridiculous.
Compared to Twitch, where you need 50 followers, 3 average viewers, and stream 3 days out of 7. And you're good, and you're golden for monetization. That's one good thing that Twitch has, is you can get monetized within a relatively short period of time. YouTube, no chance, absolutely no chance. The only thing I would probably suggest, or even potentially do for some of our lot, is look at getting them hooked up to the to YouTube through our channels, so they can stream that way, and at least they would get monetized through that. Other than that, it's insane. For them to start from scratch and go into YouTube for a big streamer, it'd be easy. They just say, okay, well, we've got 10,000 subs here. I just need 1,000 of them to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I can stream
Mm.
alongside streaming on Twitch, and within a month, I'm gonna have the watch hours and the sub count to get monetized over there, and then I can get my subs and things there again, and then I can just tell everybody move, which is
Yeah,
essentially
so
the
it's
only way to do it.
getting worse with Twitch. It was one of the reasons why I at first opted to go back to YouTube and
Mm.
stream on YouTube. But then I come back to Twitch and they do this. It's like, okay, well, you're making it less worthwhile for people that want to stream.
Yeah, you're
Why?
just taking away all their earnings, and some of these ones that are trying their very best to make a career out of it. And of course, it isn't for me. This isn't a career as such right now. Of course, in the future, it's alongside work. In the future, if it's very successful and it comes to a point where it's generating enough generating enough ad revenue and sub revenue and things like that to be able to pay for itself. Right now, it doesn't. It doesn't cover half of what it costs me a month to keep this channel running, or the equipment or anything like that. So when it comes to a point where it's running itself, and it covers me bills, which are substantial, and that's going to take a while. When it comes to that point, then it's a career. But that's a long way out. That is such a long way out. That's, you're talking 5, 6, 7 years away, maybe. If you think within 2 years, I've got to 1,400 subs, and our revenue per month for the channel is probably about 120 pounds, which is not massive. And of course, shout out to everybody who super chats and everybody who subscribes and everybody who kind of chips in to help support the channel. Everything's appreciated, but it's not self-sustainable. It's still something I need to put everything towards, and all of those go towards running the channel as well, so it's much appreciated. But yeah, the estimation is 10 years. Yeah, that's about right to be a success. That's about right, about 10 year. And it depends. You could just be one of the lucky few that just hits it off immediately.
Yeah. There are a lot of people out there that just they struck gold sometimes. And they shoot right the way to the top so fast.
Yeah,
but that's very, very slim. That happens very rarely.
Yeah.
I mean, in back in the day when YouTube was getting started, it was easier because content creation was a small thing back then.
Yeah.
But nowadays, there's a lot of people making content.
Yeah.
So
it's
a lot harder to get noticed.
Yeah, it's a big old competitive space now. So you've got
but we love it. That's why we do it. We enjoy it. That's why we do what we do. It's why I stream. It's why I make content. It's why you make content. It's why most people in this community, they make content because they love it.
Oh, 100%. I love it. You know what it is. I love it. I love the community as well, and having a laugh with the guys in the chat and seeing everyone in chat and stuff all the time. It's awesome to see. And it's awesome to have a kind of conversations, even though we're not directly having conversations with people in the chat. We kind of are. We're trying to anyway, trying to involve as many people as we can in the chat, and that's key to it for us. It's the community. It's seeing people laugh at us, like laugh at you with your fancy dress costumes, playing Hunt Showdown or Sea of Thieves or whatever it is that you play, dressed up and having a laugh on that, or jumping over to us.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's about having fun. Like,
exactly.
Back when I originally started content creation, I took it a little bit too seriously, but I think everyone does when they first get into it because they don't know what they're getting into. You really find the love later for what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
When you hit the stuff that you enjoy. I enjoy playing Hunt Showdown and dressing up like a tit on my streams at the moment. So, so that's what I'm going to continue doing for the time being until it's something that I don't want to do. But at the moment, I'm enjoying it. I love it. I love dressing up like an idiot, having a good time, chatting to people in the chat, and conversing with people over Hunt Showdowns, proximity chat, and just having a whale of a time and just not being serious about it.
Yeah.
It's all it's about. Have fun with it. If there's anyone in chat right now that is planning to get into content creation, just remember, always have fun with it. If it's not fun, it's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the key thing. You've got to As long as you enjoy it, and specifically content creation as opposed to streaming, because streaming it's gonna take you a while to get used to being in front of a camera, and talking to yourself is one of the key things. Being able to just talk non-stop, even if it's just to yourself forever. You'll Once you've got used to that, then you're set. Just be yourself, have fun, start talking about the game, jump out about the game, be silly. Um, just enjoy it.
I mean, like,
Content
took me a long
creation.
time to get used to being comfortable on camera,
Oh
and
yeah,
I'm thankful that I got to sort of, in a way, beta test that for coming on the podcasts
yeah,
here and being on camera, and I think I've really got used to being on camera now, and I don't care if there's a hater in chat that might not like the look of me. That's on them. They're the one with the problem at the end of the day, not me. I'm just here for a good time, not a long time.
yep.
I'm here to have fun.
Content creation's the hardest part for those who make videos, and Jen knows that, I know that, Boxy knows that. Content creation is the hardest part of anything. That's mainly because it takes a long time to find out what your thumbnail style is going to be, how to do the thumbnails, all of the algorithm stuff for YouTube in the background, the content that you write, the way you do the scripts, the way you do the videos, creating the videos in the first place, sourcing all your materials, doing all the overlays and everything like that, and the graphics and the artwork, and everything takes a long time to master. You're not going to get it
Yep, and it's
overnight.
getting yourself into a rhythm of it.
Yeah.
It's difficult at first because you got to learn a lot of stuff when you get into content creation, unless you already know it, which some people they do when they get into content creation, because a lot of people have done video editing for companies and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it's easier for people like that. But if you're just someone that doesn't know what that was, like me, when I first got into content creation, I knew nothing about video editing.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to video edit over a month before I could actually get into the flow of it properly. And then you've got a if you're a type of person that can record off the cuff, more power to you. But I'm not that type of person. I struggle a lot of the time when it comes to making a video, coming up with things off the cuff that I want to talk about. So I ended up scripting my content because I felt that sounded more professional for me.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
The thing about mine, specifically even the Starfield one, and good afternoon, Mav. How you doing, brother? Hope all is well. For me, with content creation like the Starfield one that I just done, I don't write a full script. What I do is write down kind of key points that needs to be spoken about. So I'll write down like the key points. Then of course I'll in my own words say those key points.
Yeah.
So for instance, I'll write down the key points of the different factions and things like that for the Starfield video, and I'll kind of elaborate that in not just my words, but elaborate kind of more of what that means. So it sounds a little bit more, I would say it sounds scripted in sense, but then also in another sense sounds a little bit more relaxed. That's the way I like to do things. If I have the problem with me is I do have a lot of stuttering issues. So when I try to read stuff off a paper, like off a screen, I just stutter the words all the time. I get it wrong, and specifically like yesterday, I had to when I was the day before yesterday when I was recording it, it was a lot of like scrap that bit, delete, start recording from here, delete, start recording from here, delete, start recording, because there was a lot of stuttering and mispronunciations and all that stuff. So
yeah, that's what it's like for me a lot of times as well. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of times you have to cut and record and cut and record. So there's a lot that goes into video creation that some people don't really know when they're getting into video editing. And there's stuff that I kind of wish I knew when I got into video editing. I'm sure a lot of people think that way as well. So yeah, if ever anyone's thinking about getting into it, there's a lot to take into account. But just remember, have fun with it, because that's all that matters.
Definitely. Worth Fit, welcome to a live show. Thank you for joining us, and love you too. Thanks for the support. And Mav said underneath there, Mav, I don't like making videos. I don't blame you, brother, but you do a lot of awesome streams, and you tend to do a lot of live reactionary videos. So if there's some news out, instead of making a video, you'll go live and you'll talk about it upright. Um, and hats off to you because they're very good, quick, informative. You speak your mind, and you've got some awesome content. And there's a reason why you've shot up to like well over 2.2 thousand subs, like in a heartbeat. It's because you put a lot of work into your channel, brother. So be proud of what you've got there. You're doing an awesome job. Yes. It's exactly my problem, Mav. I sit down, start to say it, and I'm like, nah, don't like that. And delete. I hate listening to my own voice back. That's one of the worst things ever is recording yourself,
that is
listening to
another
yourself,
thing.
and you're
Yeah,
like, oh.
that is definitely another thing I'd say to people that are thinking about getting into video creation is it's going to be a struggle at first if you're not used to the sound of your own voice. I hate the sound of my own voice when I'm recording, and listening to yourself on repeat over and over again can be a chore.
Yeah. It's specifically if you hate the sound of your own voice, which I do. But it's one of the things that I hate the most is I try to skip, even in my own, like if I'm on a podcast, I'll skip to the parts where people are potentially replying to me if I'm like watching something back, or I've been on it and somebody said something afterwards because I hate listening to what I've said. Trying to get past what
When
I've
I'm
said.
listening to myself, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, nails on a chalkboard.
Oh, too right, too right. Oh dear me! But the week's gaming news. I tell you what, we'll get the bad stuff out of the way of before we get into the good stuff. So the bad things that came out this week. And this is more of an anti-consumer thing. They don't have a right. They don't have an. Should we say they have every right to do it? But there was. I don't think there was a real need to do it. Other than for profit gain, and of course they're a corporation. They're not your friend, which is it. We've all got to remember at the end of the day. But PlayStation, of course, have blocked stacking of PS Plus or PS Now. So you can't elongate your duration of your subscription with PS Plus up until 23, 24, whatever it is, so that it converts into real-time PS Plus Premium or whatever the other ones are. You can't do that. So whatever you've got now will be converted into the new one, and as of June onwards, you'll then have to buy whatever that is and stack that instead.
Yeah, it's weird. Like they should do a transitionary period, really, where you've got.
And the thing is, as well, though, is like it doesn't convert
time.
like for like. So for those on PS Plus, if you've got PS Plus for a year, you get something like 182 days or something like that in PS Plus middle, and something less for PS Premium. I'm like, well, surely, or what it is, or PS Plus. Sorry, the one that you would pay the highest. Well, at the moment, PS Plus, whatever you pay, £10.99 or £12 or whatever it is a month for it. I think that does a like for like on the base model for the new sub service. So it converts directly for that one. But the other ones, it kind of removes days from you. Specifically the premium one, where you lose pretty much half a year on the subscription. So for those who are stacked up on PS Plus until 2024 or 2026, where I've seen the most, they're going to be losing about 2 years worth of subscription on the premium version compared to what they've already got locked in.
Pretty ridiculous, that.
You would think they would just say, pay the difference. You're locked in until 2024, so this is the choice. You can either pay the difference or you remove 2 years. But no, they're just saying, no, it's going to convert into this. I don't understand why they're doing that. It's like I say, like Xbox still allow it as far as I can tell. You can still stack gold and stack EA and all that stuff if you can find the codes and still get a conversion out the back of it. I think people still do that as well, to be honest. Specifically when it goes on sale for Game Pass and things like that, you can stack that till your heart's content until I think 2024 or beyond. I think it's November 24 so far you can go for on that. I don't understand why they would remove stacking. Do you have any ideas?
No idea. Can't really say that I'm a subscriber of PlayStation Plus. I've only really played a single player game, so I don't see the need for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. I think he makes a good point, barely making rent, saying I think PlayStation are getting there a company for gamers and not an investors. I think it's what they're struggling to do this generation is balance the right in between. A lot of the stuff they're doing is focusing more on the profit margin than it is the consumerism. You've got to get it in the middle. You have to get the balance right, and this generation specifically, the balance has been more on the profit making than it has been the consumerism. Of course, they're not always. They're a business at the end of the day, so they're going to do things that are going to benefit the business. But you have to retain fans. You're going to have to make some consumer choices, and not just everything for the business. Sometimes you're going to have to either make a loss or take a dent in profits just to ensure that consumers are happy and generate more consumers in the long run. Because the more consumers you have, the more profit you make. If you're going to make something expensive, then yes, you're going to get some consumers that are going to come on board regardless. But if you're doing it over the average, i.e., if you say you've got 10 million people on this higher price plan, but you lose 10 million people, you might make a profit on the 10 million you've got, but you've lost 10 million. If you go and
barely making rent sort of hits the nail on the head for me. I think PlayStation is forgetting they are a company for gamers, not investors.
Yeah, and if you, for instance, had 20 million but on the middle bracket as opposed to 10 million on the higher bracket, you would probably say they'd make more of a profit on the middle ground and being more consumer. Pro-consumer than they would if they would have had 10 million on the highest bracket. More people are likely and more inclined to invest in a service when it's pro-consumer than it is if it's expensive. So it's about finding the balance, and I think the balance is something that they're struggling for this generation so far. The balance between how are we going to do this to benefit the business and how are we going to do this to be pro-consumer. And right now, they more benefit the business than pro-consumer. We'll see how the generation pans out, but so far, I mean, specifically with that sub service, it's obviously early doors. We'll see how it goes. That's all we can really say about
I can imagine that they might change some stuff along the way.
Yeah.
Especially if they're not getting the numbers subscribed to the higher tier stuff.
Yeah. I think $18.99 a month or something for the highest tier, like almost $20.
Something like that. So close to $20.
It's a bit excessive for a monthly sub service where there's nothing, like, you're not getting anything brand new. That's the difference. Like, you've got a competing service that's offering you brand new games, not just first party but third party, month on month, and people are harping on about being sustainable. It's not your money. Like, why are we pocket watching like the money of multi-trillion-dollar companies? Like, do they give a shit if it's sustainable, if it's getting more users engaged? They don't care if the sub-service itself is ultimately overly sustainable. What they want to do is get as many people in there to be spending money. And at the end of the day, from statistics directly from them, 50% more people are buying content through Xbox that are on Game Pass than those that aren't on Game Pass. So they're more likely to spend money than being in the sub-service than they are out of it. So it is sustainable, regardless of what people assume. Going forwards, that's what...
And PlayStation's competition aren't charging extra for 2-hour trials.
Yeah.
Full Game Pass.
Yeah.
Get the full game in Game Pass.
Almost forgot about that.
Or 2-hour trial.
And they try to compare it against EA, but EA's trials are 10 hours.
Yeah,
so then what?
It's not enough. Not enough. 2 hours isn't enough.
10 hours is fine. If you said they were doing 10-hour trials, but then 10 hours is good. Like EA games are always good to go on EA games and know that you get a 10-hour trial. 10 hours is a substantial amount. The only problem you had with 10-hour trials with EA is if you quick resume, for instance, if you accidentally leave that game in quick resume and come out of it, it's still counting down the hours. which is shit.
That I didn't know.
So don't do that. Make sure you close that game out at every given opportunity.
But didn't I don't know if this is true, but didn't someone say that if you install a 2-hour trial, it literally runs from the point you've installed it?
Yeah.
Or do you actually have to open up the trial?
No, you have to open for what, on PlayStation or on EA?
On what will be PlayStation's 2-hour trials.
That's a good one. I would imagine from the point you start playing it. But
still not enough.
It's not. A lot of PlayStation's games.
Game?
A lot of PlayStation's games are very CGI heavy at the start of the game. It's a lot of cutscenes that are like half an hour long. So you've already shaved off 45 minutes worth of cutscenes throughout that first 2 hours. So you're probably going to get about an hour's, maybe 45 minutes worth of gameplay before you have to turn the game off or buy it. It's just so weird.
That doesn't appeal to me. That wouldn't be something I pay extra for. 2-hour trials.
And like I said, demos are like he says there, demos are free. Paying for demos is the most backwards thing I've seen. It is, and 2 hours is essentially a demo because it's not a game trial. A game trial is what EA does at 10 hours. 10 hours is a trial. That's a lengthy period of time that you can make a good decision on a game. I don't think 2 hours is long enough to make a good, solid decision of whether or not to buy a game.
Yeah, like you don't really get into the game until like the 3 or 4 hour point or 5 hour point, depending on what type of game it is you're playing.
Like I mentioned,
it's a massive RPG game.
I was going to say, like I mentioned with Astro Ascending before, I've played an hour, and I'm still undecided on whether or not I want to continue playing that game. So is 2 hours going to be enough? I don't know if it is.
That was like the whole purpose of why I started my Pass or Play series.
And if what happens if the opening 2 hours of a game is terrible, but the remaining 40 odd plus hours or 30 odd or 20 odd hours are absolutely tremendous?
Yeah.
Then you're going to give people the wrong idea about the game. You're going to be putting people off the game that would otherwise purchase the game. So
yeah, it's a bit weird that.
Yeah, it is very weird. It is very weird, but Sony be Sony, Nintendo be Nintendo, and Xbox be Xbox. They're all going to do things differently. They're all going to try and figure things out differently. I think the only reason we can compare what Sony's doing, what Nintendo's doing, is because of what Xbox has done this last year or two with Game Pass and its pro-consumer moves of Game Pass. We know they've tried the anti-consumer stuff like putting games with gold up to double the price, and that was just laughed off the face of the planet, and to the point that we completely went back on it. But other than that, it's because Xbox is doing so well on the Game Pass front and what it's providing with Game Pass that these other services are coming under such scrutiny. If Game Pass didn't exist and this has come out, I don't think it would be getting as much scrutiny as it is. I think that's the key thing.
Yeah, I don't get why they're doing some of the things they're doing with their subscription service. It's a bit weird, but I guess if they don't get numbers that they see, they may or may not change it, depending on how stubborn they are.
Yeah. I completely agree. It depends. It depends on how things go. I don't foresee the pricing staying the same all the time, and I don't foresee the content remaining the same. Going forward, I think as time goes on, they will put games in day and date. They will get a PC version of the service, so that you get access to games on PC.
Eventually, it's going to go day and date for PC with their games.
100%. They're investing
why they're
more and
buying
more
up companies.
Yeah.
That's why they've made a whole division for PC.
Yeah.
Now, so it's written in the stars basically that day and date is coming at some point. Might be sooner than later, might be longer, might be next generation. Who knows?
It's just sooner rather than later. I mean, none of these companies are going anywhere. They're all going to be doing stuff to try and enhance their core products.
I still go with my gut feeling that The Last of Us remake will be the first game to go day and date on PC when it releases on console as well.
Do you think so?
Yeah, to me that makes sense. Because if they're already not thinking about putting The Last of Us on PC, the original Last of Us
Yeah.
and Last of Us 2, what's the point in releasing the remastered one when the remake is basically round the corner? It makes more sense to go put the remake on there
I
on
think
PC.
the PC will get a bundle with the remake and
Mm.
Last of Us 2.
Yeah, that's what I think, and I think that'll come out the day on PC that it comes out on console. The Last of Us remake, the full remake, not remaster.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be their experiment to see if day and date will work for them.
100. That's the thing that I never got as well. They assume that people won't double dip because it's day and date on the platform, which is complete bogus. Because I've double dipped on games regardless.
Yeah, same.
Like even if it's on Xbox, I'll have it on PC as well because PC is an entirely different experience than it is on console. Like on PC, it is primarily on PC to have the highest fidelity you can push, the highest frame rates you can get.
I
It's-
double dipped with Destiny 2.
yeah,
I bought it on Xbox and I bought it on PlayStation because I had friends that played it on Xbox and I had friends that played it on PlayStation.
yeah. I've got Horizon.
And that was back when they didn't have crossplay.
Yeah, I've got Horizon twice. I've got Horizon on PlayStation. I've got Horizon on PC. I would have done that if I had a good enough PC at launch, to be able to do that. And if it launched day and date, I would have got it on both. One thing they need to do, I think, going into more PC connectivity and their games on PCs is find a way to do cross progression with PC games, with their PC games and the games on PlayStation, like Xbox does, where it's play everywhere or play. And thank you, Fantosir, for member for 2 months. Awesome. But yeah, it's they need to find that cross progression things. It's like the play anywhere thing with Xbox is the fact that it's all auto synchronized in cloud. So your saves, no matter where you go and what version of the game you play, you can play it on mobile, on cloud, you can play it on PC, you can play it on Xboxes, any of them. And as soon as you turn that on, it loads your saves up from your account. You're done. That's it. You just continue.
Another thing about their tier system, the one where you can play PS3 games, I think it is.
Streamed.
Yeah, it's not something I want to do because I've experienced PlayStation. It's PlayStation Now, right? Their streaming service.
It is terrible.
Garbage, hot garbage.
Yep, terrible.
Yeah, because I wanted to play Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots again, and trying to stream that was painful.
Yeah. Well, I tried not too long ago to stream because I was having some Elgato issues with the PS4. Just trying to stream it on for some reason it just wouldn't because it's stupid inbuilt DRM shit that's in the console. So I couldn't stream directly to the Elgato onto the PC. I have no idea why. So I ended up having to use PS Now or whatever it is, the version of their console streaming. And that was blurry at best. Jesus wept. The image quality on that was terrible as well. And laggy.
Yeah, I don't expect it to be any better than PlayStation Now streaming.
No. So there's room for them to improve.
For streaming.
Room for them to improve. The one thing they need to do immediately is remove cloud saves out of any of those brackets for payment. Cloud saves should not be something that you charge for, PlayStation. Listen to us now. Stop charging for cloud saves. It's such one of the most basic features in the world. Stop it. Stop. Why have you still got a paywall in front of cloud saves, for fuck's sake? There's so many people. And for instance, it's not even just the fact that it's behind a paywall. If you don't have, for instance, if you start off on PS Plus and Nintendo charge for it too, fucking. To be fair though, I don't use cloud saves on Nintendo. I've only got one device, so thanks for bringing that for my attention. Nintendo, I would shout at you, but you won't listen, so it's pointless. PlayStation might though. The problem with PlayStation Plus's cloud saves is if you're on PS Plus, you save everything to the cloud. You don't pay for PS Plus for a number of months. You go back onto the console, try to access your saves, everything that was in PS Plus in terms of your saves on the cloud, etc., gone. And I've heard that from
I mean,
a
like,
few people.
it's like jumping through hoops when you have to upgrade from a PS4 to a PS5 game as well.
Oh,
The hoops
completely.
you have to jump through is ridiculous.
It's just obscene. It's far too many hoops. I mean, you should just like you say, it's play anyway. You put it in here, and you go play.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in here, play. That should be that easy. But hell no, it's not.
Yep.
Hell no, it's not. Download your save, upload your save, upload your save, download your save. Make sure it's this version of the game. Don't have this version of the game installed.
It's seamless between Xboxes. Like, I've got my Series X here, the Halo one, and then I've got a Series X indoors. This is my studio Xbox, and the other one's the house Xbox.
Yep.
And it works seamlessly. I can go and pick up and play Halo where I left off in the house if I wanted to.
Yep. And have them both set on quick resume. You could literally pause it, go on the other one, start playing it on the other one. It'll go, oh, you're playing on this one instead. Yep. Okay, 2 seconds. Whoop. There's your save. Right, okay, crack on. That's it.
I could do the same. I plugged in my Xbox One S the other day because I put it back up in my bedroom with my TV because I don't use the TV in here anymore because everything's all plugged into this. I stream through this now. So when I'm playing console games, I didn't see the point in having the TV up here anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's not getting used because I'm always going to be using the console for streaming at some point. So I'm just leaving it plugged in here.
Yeah.
Plug my Xbox One S in. Continue where I left off on a single player game on that too.
It's just mad. It's just mad. Muppets member for 5 months. Thank you, sir, for the continued support. Let's get into some more happy news, shall we? You ready for some happy news, Jen?
I am, yes.
We're always ready for some happy news.
Let's get out of depressing Sony for 5 minutes.
Yes, let's. Happy news obviously came this week, and that is showcase season is starting.
Yep. You know what? It was not even 24 hours after the main mix-up stream.
It's the second time we've done this, Jen.
Where we were talking about it. And it happened. It happened when we were talking about Thor Ragnarok on the show with Nick a few weeks back.
Yep.
We just like willing stuff into existence now.
It's insane, but it's also great. But yeah, we will stuff into existence. What would the chat like allow us to, or want us to will into existence this month? It's the age-old question. But yeah, awesome stuff. I am really looking forward to it. My expectations, I wouldn't say they're over the top, but my expectations for the showcase as a whole is that it must match last year's, at minimum, at the least match last year's. What about yourself? Kind of minimum expectations?
Yeah. I would say it needs to match last year's, but I think it's gonna go higher.
Exceed. Yeah, I would say that as well.
I feel like it's gonna go a lot higher this year. I think they're gonna come out with some big stuff, some surprises, like with Forza Horizon 5. I think there's gonna be big old surprises.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
And I'm hoping, and I'm going to will it into existence right now, ODST sequel.
You're going to will it. Just hope for on this podcast that they're just going to keep it. Come on, keep listening. Keep listening to everything we say. Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, this conversation never happened. So don't quote me. But yeah, I'd like to will that into existence. It's something I want to see, an ODST sequel of sorts.
Yeah, it's a good one to will into existence. If anybody in chat has got anything they wish to will into existence, what would it be? Drop your ideal thing to say at the Xbox showcase into the chat. We'll read a few of them out. What would you like? What would you see if your dream announcement this year? I would say not wild over the top. I think ODST kind of thing is a potential possibility that could happen in the future. It's
I
not.
think it's a matter of time.
Yeah, it's not like saying, "Can you bring back Condemned?" Because I don't think that's ever happening. We can hope for it, but I don't
Never
think it
say
will.
never. Ever say never. There's rumors going around that Warner Brothers is selling up. Might be selling up.
I know.
Mm,
I know.
it could happen.
You never know.
Microsoft get that condemned.
Yeah.
It's coming back. I'm willing it into existence, Dutch.
Joshua James has got a fancy one there, mind. Joshua, from Xbox North. Crimson Skies 2, developed by Asobo, meshing their work on Plague's Tale and Flight Simulator. Well, that's definitely something. That's an awesome take. Nice easy ones from Bailey Making Rent, and I think you're going to get both of these, by the way. You're definitely going to get, I think you will see Avowed. Shout out to Jez Corden from the Xbox 2 and Windows Central. He's seen alpha gameplay of Avowed, and that was last year. So I think it could be in a position to show a bit more of that game off, potentially with a window release. I wouldn't say an exact release date, but most definitely a window release for some point next year, maybe. If not the year
I think that'll
after.
be holiday next year.
Yeah.
So to be sort of like on the level of Bethesda Starfield around holiday time, maybe November.
And the good news is according to Jez anyway, even from the alpha footage that he's seen last year, the gameplay looked fun, and that was last year. Obviously, it's been a number of months since that, so no doubt it's improved. No doubt it's got better. The studio themselves aren't new. They are industry veterans, of course, as we know. In Exile are fantastic. So it's highly anticipated. A lot of people want to see what that is. A lot of people are anticipating very Skyrim-esque world. Speaking of which, of course, another one, Starfield gameplay. You will 100% see Starfield gameplay. 100%.
I expect them to cover Starfield for 10 minutes, and then they'll announce that there'll be more Starfield in a separate event.
Yeah. I was going to say that. I think they're probably going to do maybe a 5-minute like intro gameplay sequence, if not like a musical intro video like they did with Take Me Home and the Fallout one. Take Me Home Country Roads. Of course, they did that and they had gameplay in it. And I think they'll probably do something similar for this trailer. I think they'll show off the gameplay with a nice soundtrack over the top of it. But like an awesome like gameplay trailer where it's maybe a couple of minutes long. And then it'll say tune in to tomorrow or tune in this day for like a 20-minute gameplay demonstration of the game and some of the mechanics that go behind it. I think they'll do that because, of course, it is their biggest game in 25 years. It is their newest IP in 25 years. So they're definitely.
Colt Eastwood was in Seattle recently as well, so something there makes me feel like
Colt and
maybe
Miles Dompier. Colt and Miles.
Maybe they're doing some sort of Starfield related
I
thing
think
that's not connected to the main event.
I think they could potentially be doing, and they'll probably correct me if I'm wrong in the private chats later. But if any of them hear this, I do believe you're doing very much what
Paris
did last year, which is a show after the show. You both hosted and co-host awesome podcasts yourselves. That's one of the reasons Paris was picked up, because of course his involvement with the podcasting and the content creation and the work he does around that. And obviously the content creators are very much appreciated by the Xbox guys. So no doubt in the future, I think we will see them doing something very similar, like to what Paris did last year. But yes, 100%. Another one here from... I'm glad Muppet's saying it. Hertog, step away from Scalebound. Yes. Those of you who are members, please spam the living daylights out of Timeout Vin, and we'll leave it at that. Muppet one's Fable. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think you might see something more of Fable. You might see another trailer. I don't know to what extent that trailer will cover, but I think you might see more of it.
Hmm.
Maybe a release window as well. Not a release date, but 2024 or 2023 holiday or something along those lines. I think they could, depending on what's lined up for next year, they could push Fable back another year. What else have we got in this list? Shanks Walker. I want certainty in the showcase. They have to give us dates, a lot of dates, showing games not sufficient. We have to wait long enough. You will
I
get
think
dates.
someone came out. It was either over the last few days, but someone came out and said that the coalition are going to show off their new project that isn't Gears related.
Yeah, we know they've got Gears.
Jeff Grubb?
We have a Gears related one, and we have a non-Gears related project. Yeah, I think you probably will. You'll probably see Project Dragon as well. I keep forgetting all the names of them. Obviously, you've got ones with IOI Interactive. Obviously, the creators of Hitman. They're working on a project. Don't forget, you've also
Is that Project Swerte or
Swerte, I think it
whatever?
is. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Um,
You got Project Dragon. Is that the one that everyone thinks is a Wu-Tang Clan game?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've also, don't forget, you've got Contraband from Avalanche. You've got the Indiana Jones
I
game.
expect we'll see all that in its glory.
Yeah. You are gonna get a lot of dates. Remember, the showcase is focused on games that are due out this year and next. You will potentially get a couple of things that are way out in the future. But I think they're going to be very limited. They're going to be few and far between. Much like we've seen the Outer Worlds 2 trailer. I think that one was more because they were poking fun at the fact that people release trailers too early. And if you watch that trailer back, it's still one of my most favorite announcement trailers ever. It was so well done with the announcement over the top, the action pack. It was like, in fact, the only thing we've come up with is the name. Outer Worlds 2. I was like, that was absolutely brilliant. I didn't expect it to be announced. I like the way that they were poking fun at the industry and the fact that people announce things too early. But I do appreciate the fact that they've said, yes, it's in development. We are working on the Outer Worlds 2, but that's all we can say. That's as much as I needed because I love the Outer Worlds. If people haven't played the Outer Worlds yet, please go and play it. It is fantastic.
I still need to complete it.
You need to. It is fantastic. I want to play it again, to be fair. I need to play the expansions. I loved it. I played it all the way through. It was only about 25 hours long. It's always different for everybody else depending on your decisions and how you do things and the weapons that you get, etc. But I was OP. I had all the big heavy artillery weapons. I was just destroying people for fun. It was awesome. Absolutely loved that. You know what it is? I'm not a big Fallout fan, so I wasn't ones that got into Fallout, but Outer Worlds was just fantastic. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, what I played of it, I've enjoyed.
Yeah.
It's just one of them games that I put down, and I always do it with RPG games. I always find it hard to come back to them.
Yeah. 007 remake. I'm sure. Is it not GoldenEye that's meant to have some kind of remake or something in the works?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure there's a 007 game that is coming 007/GoldenEye/ James Bondy game that is coming out over the next year or so, and I'm pretty sure you'll probably see it at this showcase as well. Yeah, it's GoldenEye. Yeah, I think you'll probably see it at this showcase, if not afterwards. It might be in a sizzle reel, but it's definitely going to be announced soon. IOI Interactive is creating a new 007. Is that what that is? Is that what they're creating?
I think so. I have heard that. I think they're working on this before.
There's two that I'm thinking of then, because there was a remake of the N64's GoldenEye.
Yeah.
And then there was a new 007
game that they're mainly working on now, where they work on what's the other thing? I can't remember what it was. Is it Project Dragon they're working on?
I think IOI Interactive is Project Dragon, yeah.
Yeah, this is what we're supposed to see before, where
Yeah.
they're a big Xbox game that they're working on.
Yeah.
I think was it Jez that talked about that?
Yes, that's right. And yeah, Phantos, thank you. It's a 360 GoldenEye that never released that is ready to go apparently. So yes, there is
Hmm.
another one. There's a couple of them. So there is the 007 game. That's an actual new game that's in production, in development, and there's the GoldenEye port that was coming from N64 to 360 that never released. That is now going to come out as a release very shortly. So people will get that. So that's going to be awesome.
Mm.
Um,
I really want to see State of Decay 3 gameplay.
I'm not sure you will. It's
crossed.
Yeah. The the only reason I say that is because from last year and the studio themselves were having a few issues. The last year has been a bit better for them. Specifically, it was more management issues. The last year has been a bit better for them. But I don't think they're in a potential position to show off the game just yet. However, we still have Gamescom and we still have the Game Awards. We still have Tokyo Game Show. There's a few events left this year, and potentially, you never know, XO22 might arrive this year. It might come back next year. Either way, I don't think it's ready yet to show on this E3. But I can't see it's much further away from having something to show. I think we will see Forza Motorsport.
Yeah, I definitely think we'll see that.
Possibly a release date for that. If not a release window. I'm in the camp that, from what I know, that might or might not release this year still. It's very much up in the air.
I got a feeling Forza Motorsports is early next year sometime.
I don't think it's going to end up doing what Forza Horizon did. As much as people wanted to and like release a couple of years down, I don't. From what I'm hearing, and I know a few people that have helped with it, it's don't know whether or not it is in the stages to be able to drop in the next few months. Put it that way. As much as I would love Everwild, I think the most we can hope for on Everwild after restarting the project is a new trailer to show what the game is going to be going forward now. A new CGI trailer. More just to update fans and let them know, listen, Everwild is still here, it's still in production. This is the latest look at the world that we're creating, and that's it. And potentially probably see more of Everwild next year. I think you may be seeing an update on it, but not loads.
On the Bethesda front, what do you expect we'll see from them?
Oh,
do you think we'll see a little bit of gameplay from Indiana Jones?
Indie. I don't know. You see, Machine Games have got a couple of projects in the works.
Probably Wolfenstein 3.
Yeah. Yes, they have Wolf 3. They have Indie. I know another one of the studios is doing a Quake reboot. So there's Quake to talk about. You've got the next stage of Doom. You have Starfield. We know that ES6 isn't going to start full production until when Starfield is dropped. But I know they're ramping up for ES6. Because, of course, they're getting closer to the golden sign-off for Starfield.
I think we'll see some sort of expansion for Fallout 76 for sure. That's
and Elder
obvious.
Scrolls. Elder Scrolls is going to get another expansion leak, 100%.
Definitely with ESO.
Yeah. But no,
There's that rumor that there is another MMO they're working on. Take it with a pinch of salt.
Mandalorian.
According to supposed leaks, it's a Mandalorian game, and I fully expect that to be based around the Mandalorian Wars, if it's true.
Yeah.
But there's always that chance it's bogus.
Yes, yeah, I've heard conflicting stories on the Mandalorian thing as well. I've heard them dispel the notion that they're working on a game, and I've also heard people say that it's a possibility. So, yeah, it's very much huge grains of salt on Mandalorian. Quake reboot is definitely something that is happening. I know Doom. I don't know much about the next Doom, but I know Doom is certainly in the works. I know Wolf, the new Wolf, is definitely in the works. Indiana Jones, of course, we know is in the works. Elder Scrolls expansions, 100%. Fallout 76 is continuing. It's obviously it's a live service, so 100% expansions for that. New content. Back to Xbox Game Studios. Sea of Thieves will definitely be getting an update. And potentially a new story drop. Maybe it's a surprise story drop, much like in the vein that we got last year, which was very much a surprise. And I think it's going to be big again. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next on that.
It would be cool if it's Captain Hook related.
I think it could be Monkey Island related.
That would also be pretty interesting to tie it in with a new game.
Yes. They haven't said no about that when questioned, is all I'll say.
They've been playing cheeky games, right? Cheeky games. Teasing.
Yeah. What else? What else? Give me Indiana Jones gameplay. BMG with the 449 super chat. Thank you, sir. Give me Indiana Jones gameplay.
I think we might not see Indiana Jones gameplay, but I think we do see some in-game sort of engine footage.
You'll see. I think there's a great possibility that you will see more. The good thing is the fact that all we've had from Indiana Jones from Bethesda directly, and this was pre-E3 last time, from them directly was a title screen just saying Indiana Jones Machine Games.
It was like a sort of art piece that it sort of panned through and with the title.
Yeah. Machine Games use all of their games in id Tech. So it's good news. Indiana Jones will be running on id Tech. Not on the Creation Engine. Creation Engine is specifically for BGS, or Bethesda Game Studios, which is ZeniMax Online, and specifically Bethesda for the likes of Fallout and Skyrim, etc. The vast majority of the other Bethesda studios use id Tech. So it's all good. Happy news. I do hope we get Contraband gameplay. I think you will. I think that game is going to release next year.
Yeah, I think that game releases maybe early to mid next year.
Yeah. Yeah. The one good thing I will say is, as much as people have seen the leak from the insider talking about the engine being terrible, etc. Listen, Creation Engine's never been terrible. Never been great. It's a historic engine that has been going since the dawn of time, and I'm talking Morrowind time. That's how long. It's like 2 decades old, and it's never really changed. It is a much improved version of an old engine. It's been revamped. It's been bettered. So although it probably doesn't match up to some of the highest end engines that are available, i.e., id Tech or Unreal or anything like that, it's definitely vastly improved over the previous engine. This is also the first time in a Bethesda game where flying has been any part of the game. So in terms of the flying mechanics being potentially terrible, it's a possibility because it's the first time they've done it, and no doubt with player feedback they'll get that flying mechanic right because they want it to be fun, and it's also months away, so it's a good chance they'll have it refined by the time it comes out.
And if Bethesda don't get it right, the modding community will.
100%. 100%. And the good thing is, and you know what the beautiful thing is about Bethesda, whether it be on Fallout or Skyrim or ESO Online or anything in between, is they wholeheartedly accept the modding community. They want them to have fun, create stories, make new stories, make expansions for the game. There is a reason they include all of their games with a section that allows you to put mods in the game. That's on console or PC, and that's because they say, right, okay, this is our game, this is what we've created. Enjoy the game that we've created. We'll patch what we've got. We'll try and do what we need to do on our game. Let the modding community. I mean, why do you think Skyrim's gone for so long? Do you think if with the original expansions and the base game, the game would have been around for almost a decade and a half? Of course it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Of course it wouldn't. If it wasn't for the modern community, that game would have died a long time ago. Why do you think that new version of Skyrim that released for enhanced for next generation consoles included community modifications on the highest paid version? Because the mods keep that game going. It's like a decade and a half.
Modding community loves those types of games, and they can do some crazy things with it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Starfield's going to be. Starfield will have an awesome base game. It's going to have awesome stories. It's going to have quirky faults. It's going to have bugs. I'd be. You know what it is? I'm
guaranteed loads of Star Wars content put in by modders.
I'll be disappointed if it doesn't have bugs. And it sounds stupid, but you've got so used to silly, ridiculous stuff happening in Elder Scrolls and Fallout.
As long as it's not anything game breaking. As
long as it's not game breaking, it's just silly shit. I'd be disappointed if it's not. That's saying it in jest and obviously having a laugh. It's not like saying I want it to be buggy. Obviously, I want it to be the most stable game it can be for launch, but I don't mind silly little things that are happening.
Marion the Mad says, let's talk about Skull and Bones leaked gameplay. No thanks.
Yeah.
That game can stay where it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that can stay in 2030, and you are correct.
I had hopes for that game, but after seeing that footage, I am not interested.
No.
I'd rather play Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, it looks terrible. Another one, they have to release it though because of an obligation of the government in Singapore. I know, I know they have to release it. So yeah, unfortunately, it needs to go out. Yeah, say the bugs in Bethesda games make them more fun. See, it's not just me. Everybody agrees. They're ridiculous bugs, but they are fun. And there, we don't play BGS games for graphics. We play them for the stories and the stories we can create in those universes and some of the stuff. And they mentioned it, and the team themselves have mentioned it. Like when you play a BGS game, whether that's Skyrim or Fallout or whatever, everyone's game is different because the variables are ever changing. Like I can go in and play this part of a game, and it'll not be the same for me as it is for you because it's. Like, characters might or might not be there at the same point. Certain enemies will or won't be there. The way you take them down, the way you don't take them down, what damages, whatever happens. Everything's always different, so it's awesome. Ooh, BMG. Got news for you, broski. Indiana Jones won't be exclusive. Don't hold your breath. Disney don't care.
If it paid for the license, it's really on Bethesda where that game goes.
Yep, Disney do not care as long as it's a good game. They've learned their lesson from EA. You can task a studio to make something. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good. As far as they're concerned, as long as the game's good, i.e., Sea of Thieves, Pirates of the Caribbean. As long as it's good, it stands out. They don't care that that's exclusive to one place. As far as they're concerned, you can play it on an Xbox, you can play it on a PC, you can play it on mobile.
It's not really exclusive to one place.
Yeah.
It's PC, cloud, console.
Yep.
So there's more places to play it.
Yeah, that game will be exclusive. Which is awesome, though. There was another comment I seen through there as well. It's woo! It was something about aliens, and I've missed it now. There was a comment about aliens. Where was it?
Where's that gone?
See, I've seen it before. Now it's gone. There's a comment about aliens. Did you see it as well?
Hope we can have our way with aliens in
That's the one.
Starfield.
That's the very one.
Uh,
If you haven't seen my videos, there are aliens in Starfield. You don't want to though. If you'll have a look at the video, the aliens that are outside of one of the main cities, one of the main factions, again it's detailed in the video, are a cross between wolves and velociraptors. So I don't think you'd want your way with a wolf / velociraptor hybrid. Oh dear me. One thing I do think we will definitely see this showcase, pardon me, is Hellblade Senua's Saga release date. And some combat gameplay, some actual combat gameplay. I think they really want to showcase what they're doing to the combat in the game.
yeah, I think now is the time they show it.
They've put a lot of work into that. They had the entire studio go and spend time with essentially combat sports specialists to learn hand-to-hand and weapon combat, and then put them all into mocap. Of course, we know Melissa Juergens, the actress behind Senua, and of course one of the developers herself, did a lot of work with her partner, who's a professional MMA fighter, and of course the lead choreographer from Star Wars to get sword fighting down to a T. So combat has come a long way.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
No?
So that should be really good then.
Yeah. Yeah, did you not know that?
No,
yeah.
It's information I did not know.
Yes, yeah, they had the lead choreographer for sword fighting, specifically from Star Wars, come directly to the Ninja Theory offices and train Senua on sword fighting. Melissa
You know
Juergens.
full well there is going to be a mod in Hellblade.
Oh hell yeah!
Senua's Saga.
As a Jedi.
Lightsabers.
Yep. But yeah, it's so they've put a lot of work into the combat. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I can't wait for them to prove all those people wrong from last time who kept calling the game mid. It's not. The first game was absolutely tremendous. You've got to remember that game was made by 20 people.
I gave it a must play in the pass or play video. I did.
The audio, I cannot wait to see what they've done with the audio in that game as well.
Audio was amazing. Like the way you heard all the whispers moving around, like it's crazy good. And like the screams in the distance and all that.
Yeah.
And like all the little subtle noises you can hear in the background. It's fucking amazing.
And let's not forget the last gameplay we saw for Hellblade was unbelievable. It was so detailed.
And there's still people saying that weren't gameplay.
Yeah. Even though Jeff Keighley of himself has said no, the developers were like, no, this is gameplay. This isn't CGI. This is in-game gameplay. Here's a controller. This is us playing. This is gameplay. The fact that they had to come out and say, no, it isn't CGI, tells you a lot about how good that game's looking already. And it's not even released yet. That's still in development. So phenomenal. I can't wait for it. We'll probably get a release date. The good thing, I think, BMG says a good point here, actually, and I'm waiting for this chat to update here, otherwise I'd put it on screen. He says, anyone thinks Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2 will be announced on May 4th? May 4th is podcast day. I am hoping, that's Wednesday, of course. I am hoping that this stuff is announced throughout the day so that the show will have a lot to talk about. Yes.
I hope so.
Yes, I think Jedi Fallen Order 2 will... Of course, we know it's in development. They've already mentioned that. But I think, hopefully, to further to that point, we will get... some updated gameplay. Kind of more of a little gameplay sequence or even a CGI trailer with maybe a release window for Fallen Order 2. But I think we'll see maybe a lot... there we go. We see maybe a lot of the project updates because there is a lot of Star Wars projects in the works now, which is great, from a lot of different studios. So I think there's going to be quite a few announcements, to be fair, on the back of that. So yes, keep an eye out this week on May 4th. There's going to be a lot of Star Wars goodies going on.
BMG said earlier, not seeing Hellblade 2 till Game Awards, as so far that's where it's always been shown. But the thing is, they can't go as in depth in the Game Awards as they can at an event of their own. So
Yes.
I do expect to see a big unveiling of Hellblade.
Yeah.
At this June 12th event.
100%. 100%. I completely agree. What else?
I think we will see it again at the Game Awards, though, without a doubt, because they'll have some sort of trailer to hype the game up even more, story-wise, maybe a proper story trailer, and I think that will probably come out early next year.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think? Let's go out on speculation street here. What do you think would be the surprise drops for this year?
That's a hard one because it could be any team that they're working with. I think it's such a hard question.
It is.
Because I just don't know. I would. So something coming out this year, maybe, but I highly doubt it. Some Halo content, story content, maybe for November time.
They can't bring out 2 maps in 6 months and you want story content. We're talking about speculation station.
Maybe. I don't fully expect it, but who knows? Maybe. Maybe even well, there is rumors that there is a Halo spin-off in the works.
Yes.
Likely Halo Wars 3.
Yeah. You never know.
Me, I'll die hoping for ODST 2 or a ODST game. But I don't know.
You never know. BMG, I think we spoke about this a little bit earlier, I think before you come in there. I think we're both in agreement with this. There's going to be a shorter, maybe 5-minute teaser gameplay section thing there, even maybe less than that, with like a bit like what you saw with Fallout, where they did the song "Take Me Home, Country Roads," and then they had the Fallout 4 kind of introduction. I think you'll see something similar for Starfield, where it'll have some soundtrack with some gameplay footage, and then it'll have some like a neat kind of music trailer. And then it'll do the announcement, deep dive with Starfield gameplay tomorrow with Todd Howard, or on Wednesday with Todd Howard, whatever it is. I think it'll do a shorter thing on the showcase, showing a little bit of gameplay, showing the game off a little bit with an awesome soundtrack, and then let people know there's going to be more in depth. The reason I say this specifically is I think the game showcase itself, I think they get a good grasp of the gameplay and all of the mechanics for a game like Starfield. You would have to have quite a bit of time. I don't think 5 or 10 minutes is going to be long enough to showcase that game properly.
Yeah.
I think
I'd say they do a 5 to 10 minute announcement sort of thing, and then they'll have a day throughout that week, or maybe the week after, where they have a half-hour Starfield event.
Yeah.
Hosted by whoever.
Yeah.
Could be Colt Eastwood for all we know, because he was in Seattle.
Yeah, and Miles. It's a double team. But yeah, there's a few. To be honest, there's so many projects in the work. If we say overall, the 23 studios, there's 40 projects, 40 projects underway. Microsoft Game Studios, Bethesda Game Studios, 40. So we're aware of pretty much what half of them are, and we are aware of even less of when the release dates are. Maybe it's a quarter of those half.
One game I keep forgetting is Redfall, and I think we will see a lot of that
this year. Yeah. So I think we'll get the release date for Redfall and gameplay.
Maybe even shortly after the event.
I think Redfall could be the Forza drop, the one that comes out like 2 months after.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, there's speculation that has been delayed internally to towards the end of the year,
Yeah,
but that's not been confirmed yet. Expected to be confirmed at this event that it's been pushed.
yeah,
If it's been pushed,
yeah. If it's been pushed, but I can't see them releasing Redfall too close to Starfield. So I think at a
maybe they
push,
do.
at a push, it's going to be late September.
Mm,
Um,
maybe they do with Redfall some sort of surprise beta drop and go, oh, beta's live right after the show.
yeah,
And you can test the game out and give our feedback on what we like about the game and we don't like. Maybe they, from that, then decide what happens, whether the game's going to be delayed or not.
yep. I think we'll get Game Pass release date announcement for the Game of the Year edition of Deathloop coming to Xbox. I think we'll just get a release date for that. I don't think they'll overdo it with gameplay. I think maybe they'll show off what is included in the Xbox version. We know they're not just
When did
Go on.
when did that come out, Deathloop? Has it been a year yet?
It will be by the time the showcase is on.
Shadow drop.
Could be Shadow Drop for Dead.
Hmm.
What the hell do I call it there? Deadloop.
Deathloop.
Dead Loops.
Yeah, that could be Shadow drop
Fruit
right
Loops.
into Game Pass.
Fruit Loops still
Fruit
in straight in the
Loops.
Game Pass. But yeah, and then of course you've just got an abundance, like they've said, compulsions games. You've got oh god, there's just so many projects. That's the problem. There is so much going on now. I think for me the key one, of course, is just seeing more of Hellblade and getting that release date. That is my singular happy thing. As long as I get that, I'll be over the moon.
Oh, it was, wasn't it? BMG said, isn't Deathloop September as it got delayed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
September.
So maybe they just they come out and say it's coming September.
Yeah, and I think they'll showcase what you get in the Xbox version of the game, because I think you'll get something special. They've mentioned themselves they're doing something else for the Xbox version of the game, so yes. But to wrap up the topic, your key thing, I think I want to see 3 key things for me are Hellblade, combat gameplay, and release date.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, or we'll get a shadow drop for A Plague's Tale, because A Plague's Tale's coming out this year. Requiem, I cannot wait.
Still need to complete the first one.
Oh god, it's tremendous. Play it.
It's such a good game. I just haven't got back round to completing it since I did my Parcel Play.
So I think we'll see the release date and drop time for that. But Hellblade for me primarily, Sea of Thieves next expansion, the big one, and Forza Horizon 5's first actual big expansion. I think we will also see at the showcase.
Yeah, my main thing is I really want to see Starfield, and we're going to see it. Yeah. So,
yeah. Oh, you're 100%.
I really hope there's going to be a. I really hope there's going to be a Halo spin-off that's worthy of a spin-off.
Yeah.
Personally, I hope it's not Halo Wars 3 that's being worked on, because I'm not really a big fan of Halo Wars.
Yeah.
Love the story. Not a huge fan of those types of games. Don't mind them. Very few of them pique my interests. Halo Wars never did it for me.
Yeah. No,
so I'm hoping for a legit spin-off, maybe a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter. I'll be happy with that. I do expect them to go one more thing. Gears of War 6 teaser trailer, and that ends the show, and that doesn't come out till 2024, 2025.
Yeah, we know they put that on the back burner, and rightly so. And BMG says they will eventually get around to playing Sea of Thieves. We eventually dragged General C into Sea of Thieves last week.
And it was hectic.
Yeah. It's a lot more hectic than what he thought.
Yeah, I didn't expect it. That was insane.
Yeah. And that isn't even the
2027 for Gears 6.
I think it's.
Possibly,
I don't
but I
think it's
think
20. I don't think 27, but I definitely see it as maybe it's 25, 26.
yeah, I think Gears of War fans are itching for something Gears of War related, and I think even if it's just a teaser trailer, and they go coming 2025, 2024, wherever they decide, just
Yeah.
to give some Gears fans that better closure, so we know when it's coming. They did recently, I think, stop making content for Gears 5, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So they've got to give Gears fans something.
Yeah. Well, I think they will. I think they will. Could be in the tune of something
Mm,
else, though.
could be, could be. Do you know something?
Um, not BMG. Silent Cypher says, I'm a bit curious as to how the agreement is stated for Deathloop, as if MS can advertise it's released. Funny thing here, and this goes for their internal stuff as well. Delays don't count on the original contractual obligations. So the original contractual obligation was months prior to its release, prior to its original delay. So the contractual obligation of its release was actually several months prior to its delay. So the contractual obligation does not shift due to delay, which means that the exclusivity point states as original up until June of this year. I think June or July. So even though it got budged and it was delayed later, it's still contractually to the same point in time. Same applies for internals, which is why you've seen the developers for Oddworld complain that their contractual obligations had changed due to the delay of the of their game, or shift in, or sorry, the delay of consoles and consoles to markets, etc. And when they released and expected a stronger release, because of console issues and the original agreements, they were still hindered to the original release date as opposed to anything else, which was a shame, even though the game had been delayed several months and eventually released after that. They were tied to release date figures as opposed to further down the line. So same applies for any other game. Its original contracted dates and terms, those do not change if your game delays.
So they could end up shadow dropping.
Could end up shadow dropping it. If anything, it'll be like, say, a Game Pass announcement, which is good.
Mm.
You are 100% right. Coalition's not making Gear 6, they're making a Barbie game to coincide with a new live action film with to be fair, I mean, a lot of people are going to see that game now with Margot Robbie. Sorry, that film now with Margot Robbie as the lead actress. Yep. Everyone's going to be like, I'm not going to watch it for anything else other than Margot Robbie.
A lot of dudes are going to go to the cinema to see that because she's a bit of eye candy.
And no problem, Cypher. No problem at all. Yeah, contractual obligations, as you know, if you haven't signed something that is updated, which they wouldn't have done due to their delay, then it doesn't budge with it. You're still tied to the original contracted terms. So yes, let's move on. I mean, actually, yes. So I've told you just say you want to see Starfield. You will get Starfield, but what other things? What are the key things that would you like to see? So Mighton, of course, I've mentioned Hellblade release and gameplay. We've mentioned Starfield. That's a given. Forza Horizon 5 expansion, Sea of Thieves expansions. They're the key three things really that I'm looking forward to. What about yourself?
I would say State of Decay 3, but like you've said, there's been some problems there. Maybe we do. Who knows?
Yeah,
that is something I really want to see.
It would be a last minute surprise if they feel like it's in a position to showcase anything. But you never know.
And maybe some Fable is something I want to see.
Mm-hmm. A little update on it. Potentially release.
Those are really the big things that appeal to me, as outside of the realms of Halo spin-off or content for Halo. As much as I would like to see content for Halo, I don't think we will, because they're still not even got co-op out yet. Yeah. Forge, two maps in the space of 12 months.
Strangely enough, I think you will see something regarding Halo at the event. I don't know to what
Yeah.
extent, but you will definitely, and
It
it's
will
something to do
likely
with the
be.
current game.
There's also those rumors about a Halo Battle Royale.
An actual
And
one, not the last man standing.
Jez Corden has talked about that. So maybe here we see it, and then they announce test flighting for it.
Yep.
The same day.
Thank you, BMG, for the super sticker where he waves. Bye bye. If that's you off,
we,
brother, thank you for jumping in, and thank you for the super chat.
And we know that's made by is it Certain Affinity?
Yes.
Yeah, they're working on the Battle Royale. So
Yeah.
I expect we see something there for that.
Apparently, that Certain Affinity Battle Royale's been in the works for quite some time.
2 years, I think.
2 years, I think it is. Yeah.
Said.
So it is a possibility that it releases. It'd be interesting to see what they do with it. Of course, we still have
they might release it in beta.
Yeah.
Or they might say test flighting starts, I don't know, a day later.
Yeah.
Gives people a chance to get ready for it. Or maybe they even say a open beta flighting is available right now after the show ends.
Yeah.
And they test it like that, and then it comes into beta properly a few months later.
I think they will, because if you have a look at the way the menu system is on Halo Infinite, it's a client. It isn't like you can click it and it'll go to campaign as a separate thing, or you can click it and it'll take you to multiplayer as a separate thing. I think they'll just drop.
Yeah, it's basically like a launcher.
Yeah, so that's the Halo Infinite thing. There is just a launcher. So I think they'll just put that into it. It'll get updated. It's going to be like 200 gigs in size by the time all is said and done. So it'll get updated. The Battle Royale will go into there as a whole another option. So it'll say campaign multiplayer Battle Royale. And of course, that's what I think. It'll just take you to Certain Affinity's Battle Royale there on a separate thing entirely.
Campaign Battle Royale ODST 2.
Yeah. Oh dear me!
I'm gonna go to the grave hoping for that game. I know it.
I know.
It's never gonna come out.
I know. Speaking of Halo,
I'll be on my deathbed and they'll announce it, and I'll be like, "What?" Oh.
Speaking of Halo, episode 6 of the TV series.
Yeah, episode 6. Almost never had a chance to watch it, but luckily last night I did manage to find time to watch it.
Yes. So, a lot of story progression here. More to learn more about the lady that's come into it, that has been kind of living with the Covenant for so long, known as the Chosen One or the Special One.
I can't remember what they call it. The Blessed One.
The Blessed, yes. They call her the Blessed. The others call her Chosen. Of course, he is also a Blessed One, judging by the remarks and, of course, the way they interact, and specifically around the artifacts when he touches it, and they both have nigh on seizures. At the same time, heartbeats and blood pressure and everything's synced together. But then he pushes through, which is a mad moment. He pushes through it, and then no more illness. He's perfectly fine, and he can see everything, and he ends up standing on Halo for the first time. We said episode
like
5, 6 that you'd see Halo. We were right. We were right.
I just want to say that this episode here proves they don't need that Quan storyline or the Insurrection storyline.
Apart from jump scare. Quan's here.
You had to remind me. I forgot about that bit.
even scared the chief. She was like, "Are you okay? Fucking hell, where you come from?"
Why did they have to put that bit in there?
Every time I see her though, and this is no bad thing towards her. Every time I see her, it reminds me of Rogue One. It just reminds us of Rogue One. That's all it does.
Yeah, it's not the problem I have with the actress.
Yeah,
because she's a good actor.
Yeah,
it's the problem I have with the story revolving the actress.
Yeah,
it's not interesting.
It's a shoehorn story.
It's weird, and it brings. I loved the character Soren at first.
Yeah,
but it's him being around her character. being dragged down by her story is making me dislike his character.
Yeah. But other than that, we seen nothing of Kwan other than her jump scare moment. Other than that, it was an interesting episode. There was no fighting in this one.
It was a great episode. As much as it's a filler episode, it drove the story forward, which
in the
matters.
right ways. I liked the moment where he was trying to kill Halsey. I liked the interaction between the rest of Silver Team. I love Silver Team, the way they're doing that. I love, is it 135 or 137 his name is? The big guy? Heavy Weapons.
I can't remember his name. I can never remember his name. But yeah, that big guy, he's awesome.
He's awesome. But then getting her back up and fit again. She's still got a grease-dyed hair. She's
125 Kai.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to seeing Silver Team work together in future episodes and go into combat together again properly. We saw them very briefly in the last episode have some form of combat, but of course we saw Kai get destroyed because she couldn't cope with the human aspect of being in battle. What do you anticipate? I know you've seen. I worried a lot about Halo, but I'm really enjoying it so far. That's good to hear. We took it at face value, really. We took it at the point where we come to the acceptance that this hasn't got anything to, and people hate the fact that it hasn't got anything to do with the game. But Halo is much more than the game now. Halo is comics, Halo is TV series, Halo is films. The lore is ever expanding. You can't say it's lore accurate. You can create lore. If somebody writes a book now, it automatically becomes lore. You can do that for TV. You can say, right, okay, well, this is an alternate timeline Halo series.
Yeah, and what I didn't want from a Halo series was for them to tell the exact same story I played a million times.
A million times over.
And have they done that? Have they told a story that's better than that? Not yet.
Yep.
But it's got potential. I can see the potential is there for this to be a great TV show. It's going through some teething issues.
It went through them at the beginning. I mean, even the press is starting to admit now, specifically with episodes 5 and 6, it's really starting to come into its own.
Yeah, like the last 2 episodes have showed major potential that this could be a great TV show that lasts 5+ seasons, as long as the writing team, they stay, what's the word I'm looking for? Inspired to keep writing rather than getting lazy, like they did with The Walking Dead, and the writing team for that just got so bored. The story arcs really dipped for The Walking Dead, and a lot of people dropped off because it started to suck.
Yeah,
it's nothing worse than when a writing team becomes uninspired.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing I love about this, and go shout out to Joshua because we were speaking about this on his show as well, is the fact that they are doing things their own way. I think Pablo Schreiber has been an awesome chief so far. I like to see him be a bit more brutal with his chip out. I think with the chip in, he's very much just taking orders and doing what he does. But with his emotion chip out, he's very much more angry and aggressive, but he's very much still a combat-orientated demon, as it were. You seen that in episode 5. He was like, even with his chip out, he was just destroying people left, right, and center. And jumping onto banshees and flying them into like wraiths, and it was just awesome. Like, and that's the type of stuff you just they can sit back and say he's not lost his touch even with his emotion chip out.
Yeah, and I think they might try to explain that because him not needing that chip or whatever that thing is that he took out of his back, I think that will be explained because he is one of the blessed ones or whatever they call it. So I think that might be a reason that they'll eventually explain is why he can function so well without that.
Yeah.
And I think the other Spartans won't be able to function as well without that because they're not that special blessed one.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think it's potentially because of that. I think Kai will get better. I'm not sure if the story's going to progress to a stage where Kai and Chief encourage the other two to take their emotional chips out. But they do
maybe.
they do sit on the bed at one stage, and obviously he tells her about what happened to the kid, like as kids and parents, and how they were taken away.
Yeah, when
and she
yeah,
says,
that's just after when Halsey admits to
Yeah.
Chief what she did with the Spartan candidates
yeah, and they're
being
sitting there, and she
abducted as
says, "Do the
kids.
other two know?" And he says, "Not yet, in time."
Mm.
Um,
I think he might be holding off explaining that to them until he sees more how she handles her situation without
Yeah.
the chip.
yeah,
Because I think it might come to a point where she needs to accept that she needs that chip back in her, so
yeah,
she's combat capable.
combat effective.
Because I think that the reason why he is the blessed one is the reason why
he can handle.
he doesn't really need that, and he can handle his situation when he needs to handle it, like in combat.
Yeah, I completely agree. But overall, a really positive episode in terms of story building. Glad we see the
I
Halo
really
ring.
enjoyed the part where he locked Halsey in the lab, and then we find out that was him testing what
The capabilities
Cortana
of
can
the
do.
AI, yeah.
So
That was good to
was
see. She was like, I literally
good.
can't do anything other than turn you off. I can literally shut you down or turn you back on again. I can't do anything other than that. He's like, yeah, of course you can. He's like, she can't. I can't. I literally can't. It was like 1 second left on the clock. She was like, I can't do anything. He's like, fine. Door open.
Yeah, I like that. That was good. We all knew he wasn't going to kill her.
No, he was just
he was
very
just
smart,
doing what he wanted to do to see what Cortana could do.
Yeah. The one thing I've noticed as well in certain episodes is sometimes Chief looks absolutely humongous next to people, and then other times he doesn't. And I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, I think they're finding it hard to get the camera angles right.
Yeah. You notice that, like, sometimes he's walking along, people and everyone's looking up at him. And then other times he's walking along and like he's on the same height as people. I'm like, what?
As a Marine, yeah.
But yeah, it's overall though, I'm really enjoying it. To be honest, when this first season's finished, I'll probably go back to the start, watch it all in like a marathon, just watch it all back to back.
Yeah, the politics stuff still isn't getting me, but it wasn't as bad
what I
this
did
week.
like about this one, on this politics side of things though, is that woman that I've hated from the start is now more on the side of the Spartans and the Spartan project.
Yeah.
Whilst the others are trying to discredit her, she's like, so you don't trust us anymore. So you don't know what I'm doing with the Spartans. You don't trust the Spartan project. She's like, they are our best weapons. And she's starting to get behind them now because she can see what's happening.
Yeah, especially with like, I fully expect the last 2 episodes to revolve around the fall of Reach. Maybe episode 8 will be the fall of Reach, and when the Chief has to leave Reach on the Pillar of Autumn.
Yep.
And then episode 9 will be
dropping into Halo.
Follow on from that in the ship.
Yeah. Just about to drop.
And I think it'll close. Ring. Yeah, I think that's where the episode 9 will close out when they get in the drop pods.
Yeah,
and
it's going to leave it on a cliffhanger, like an awesome cliffhanger. But it's, you know what it is? It's great to see even just the transformation of the program in the first season, because a lot of seasons don't do that. The first ones are often quite slow and they don't really get into the groove. And you can really see the series starting to get into the groove of things now. So long may it continue.
And of course, like any TV show that's starting, it's going to have its teething issues. Some of the episodes have not been as good as the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
A lot of that comes down to some of the storylines that seem to be forced in there that I think they can slowly and naturally weed those out over the first 2 episodes of season 2.
Yeah.
And just mop up those storylines and get to the stuff that people are enjoying about this show.
Yeah.
Keep that reined in there. The Spartans, the Chief, Cortana, not so much the politics. I know that appeals to some people, but to me, politics of a show, when it revolves around stuff like political arguments between 2 parties, that doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
I hate politics.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree on that front. I agree. But overall, Very happy with it. I'm happy the way it's
Yeah,
going.
I'd say this episode, if I was to give it a number,
Yeah.
I'd say it's a solid 8.
Yeah, I'd probably give it the same. Probably about an 8.
Mm.
I just love the action, and the thing is when you start to see the action and the action kicking off, you just want more of it. Last episode's action was just tremendous.
Episode 8, as it's the penultimate episode, I think that will be very action heavy.
Yeah.
It kind of has to be.
Yeah.
They need to give us that big fight, and that's why I expect that to be around the Fall of Reach.
And let's face it, in the teaser trailer for the Halo series, we also saw them jumping out of pelicans, like you did on Halo Infinite, where they're diving out head first. I think we could see that as the final episode, where all of the Spartans are diving out of the pelican onto Halo for the first time.
Possibly, yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting.
It is.
We both said the same thing.
Yeah, he said Game of Thrones type of politics that provide the setup for the conflict is good. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
I just hope we see less of it when the Human Covenant War starts to take off a bit more.
I think you will. I think because a lot of the thing is as well is when it specifically when Halo gets into its wartime, there's far less politics. Specifically when Reach gets destroyed, the politics pretty much disappears and it's all more just military command. So I think as the war progresses, politics side disappears and it's more just give you every resource you can for the military. Finish the fight.
That's where I expect it to go.
Yeah.
So less politics in the next season or so. I will say there was some weird thing I didn't like about the part when Chief and Mackie were in that vision on Halo. When he touches her, you know what I mean? When he touches her face, it's like very awkward. And it made me think, no, they're not going to do...
No, it looks awkward, but it's mainly, I think he's just saying, is this real? Like, is this all around? Is this real? Like, what?
Yeah, it just...
And I think it's the fact that he's in a vision, but she's in the same vision that confuses him. Because he's like, this is the first time I've been in somewhere where two people have been in the same place and are seeing the same things in the vision. And that's when he thinks, what she's told me is true.
Yeah.
Because beforehand she was like, we're both the Blessed One. Like, I'm the same as you. We're all doing the same things. This is what's going to happen. He's like, what? And he doesn't trust what she's saying at all. And he still doesn't trust her, rightfully so. But that stage there is when he's like, right, what she's telling me is true, and I can't believe that she's actually here in physical form. And then it stops, and he's like, holy shit.
Yeah, it just felt very, very awkward to me. Like they were trying to hint at there's going to be some sort of relationship or something between the two, and I was like, not on for it.
Yeah, thankfully, I don't think it was that. I think it was more just him testing.
To be honest, I think she's going to die.
Next season.
Either in the last 2 episodes, she might die during, like, if the Covenant invade Reach. She'll be killed by one of the Spartans. Probably Kai.
You know, I don't... See, this is the reason I say I don't know is because she can, of course, conjure the worms out of pretty much anything. The hunter worms.
I don't know. I think they might kill her off.
That blade that comes out of her finger, so I don't know.
I kind of expect them to kill her off. I might be wrong, and then she might stick around for another season.
I think she'll be a super villain.
I also kind of have a feeling that the reason she exists is to replace the Arbiter.
No, you see now I think Arbiter's going to be in it.
I think there might be an Arbiter-like character in it, but I think as a budget reason, they've had to shoehorn something in that isn't CGI all the time. And I think that's her.
Possibly. You never know.
So
Because at the same time,
Unless,
if you have a look at
yeah,
what they did with Atriox, young Atriox that they put in there, he
mm,
looked awesome.
yeah. So that's what I mean, though. If budget-wise, it would be very expensive if they were to have the Arbiter in multiple episodes for a lengthy period of time. That's why I feel like they've put that human element into the covenant,
Yeah.
so that it drops the budget down for them, so they haven't got to have this all singing, all dancing CGI. If they kill her off, they might do the Arbiter.
Yeah.
But if they keep her around beyond this season, then I think she's there to replace the Arbiter.
Yeah. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
And I understand fully why, because the budget, so they have to keep within the budget.
Yeah, so
And
far,
that budget will only go up as the seasons
it's
go on,
definitely going to go up.
as long as more
It's
people
their
keep
most
watching.
successful show. They can't not increase it now. It's their most successful show across the board. So, and with critic feedback being much better for the later episodes, I think that's only going to confound it. So
yeah, and I really do hope that they take fan notes from tweets and whatever, fan feedback, and just mop up a few of those storylines that people are not gelling with.
Yes, completely. Good evening, Xbox Tester. Unfortunately, we're pretty much wrapping up now. But of course, you can view this on demand afterwards, so apologies. But good evening indeed. But yes, on that note, Jen, it's been an awesome show again.
Yeah.
We've discussed quite a lot.
It's been a good show.
We've discussed quite a lot. It's been good fun, as always. But you're going to be streaming some Hunt Showdown shortly.
Yep, I'm going to go live, maybe play an hour or two of Hunt Showdown.
Nice. If anybody wants to go watch that, he does stream over on Twitch at the General C. Is it the General C or is it the General
_General _C?
But yeah,
same as my Twitch, Twitter. Brain dead.
Indeed. But yeah, let people know what you're up to these days and where they can find you.
Mostly streaming on my Twitch at the moment. I am working on content in between that, in the middle of writing a script for a Hunt Showdown video. Hopefully I can start recording that next week.
Nice. Is it to introduce new people into Hunt? Is it like
sort of will appeal more to people that are getting into it and that have maybe just got into it. So sort of more of a what is Hunt Showdown and if you're planning on getting into it, how maybe you should approach it, because it can be an intimidating game at first.
Yeah. I think it would be a good one to specifically tell people all about it for the first time that might not have played it and might be interested in it. I think that would be a good episode or a good video to do.
Yeah. And then most of the video content for Hunt Showdown after that will be highlights and maybe different loadouts that I like using.
Funny moments and
stuff like that.
And stuff like that.
Yeah. Funny encounters with other teams, because there's a lot of proximity situations that I get into that turn out to be pretty funny or pretty awesome. There's been times where I've teamed up with enemy teams. It's been a crazy experience. So yeah, I've got that footage to use, and I'll be moving into that sort of content very soon.
Awesome stuff. So if anybody who wants to go and watch some Hunt Showdown, he's live probably within 15-20 minutes of this show coming to an end.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a drink and then go live straight away.
And for myself, of course, you can find me everywhere at the WandrinDutch. Either here on YouTube, where you're watching me now. I have a brand new video up called Everything You Need to Know About Starfield. If you haven't watched it already, please go ahead and do so. That's a culmination of all the official information that we've got so far about Starfield, all the different factions, the gameplay styles, the music, and the worlds that you can expect to know. If you haven't had the opportunity to deep dive into everything Bethesda have released about the game so far, I've culminated into with one easy-to-watch 8-minute video. So I hope you enjoy that. Other than that, of course, back here again on Wednesday for the Midweek Mix-Up podcast midweek show. We don't know what the topic is going to be as yet. It is May the 4th on Wednesday, so it could be Star Wars related. It could very well be Star Wars related, and no doubt, depending on when the news gets dropped, it could just be a Star Wars episode. Other than that, of course, you can find me on Primetime Gaming on a Monday evening at 12 o'clock UK time at midnight, 7 o'clock EST US time. Hope everybody enjoyed the show today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And of course, we will see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.